Well, Path of Exile 2 has been out now for literally about a week, and people are starting to put some of their 2 cents in as to their experience, and I also will be putting my 2 cents in. But one of these people I want to cover a reaction to theirs is Hawg. He is also a person that stream. I ran him, but D4 him, Darth microtransactions, a couple people I had bumped into the D4, and I want to see how their Path of Exile experiences. He just dropped this several hours ago, still working, so I didn't even get a chance to look at it. I want to go through his experience live because it says Path of Exile 2 needs to change. I'm assuming that's not good. So, and I'm looking at what it says in the background, and it's probably gonna be good. So, but let's see what he has to say about Path of Exile.
Okay, so we got to have a talk about Path of Exile 2, and we got to have a talk about the community, and we got to have a talk about a lot of the new players that are coming in here that have never played Path of Exile or Path of Exile 2, and we've got a shitstorm to get into. And I was gonna wait before I did my review of this game until we reached the end game, but after the nerf yesterday, it's obvious that I'm never going to reach the end game in an ARPG, so let's dive into it.
I'm also going to talk about the nerfs.
It's Hawg, baby. How about y'all? You got Hawg. Thanks for stopping by. Look, I'm pissed this morning, okay? My voice hurts. I've been playing this game.
My voice hurts.
Since launch, nonstop. We did a subathon, y'all. Thank you. The subathon was a great success. Thank
Congrats.
you for that, by the way. On Saturday, we're going to do, we hit the goal, so I have to...
He's one of the major people that's been like really hyped for this, so this is very interesting.
And ladies stuff, and then we got to cosplay as Little Debbie.
What?
So that'll happen Saturday.
Either way, what the hell are you doing?
Obviously, I'm pretty heated about the patch last night. Obviously, I know this is early access. Just to preface all of this before I get all this shit in the comments. Yes, I know it's early access. Yes, I know they're gonna nerf shit. I don't need y'all to tell me that shit. I've been playing video games since I was 5 years old. So literally like 32 years. So please don't come at me with that shit. I know all about ARPGs. I'm an OG Diablo player. I've been playing ARPGs for 20 years. Now, that all being said, I also don't need players who think magic items on the ground are badass and are good drops to tell me about the game. I don't need that. Thank you. Now, what I'm saying is the game's fucking impossible. Okay? Let me back on that a little bit. Killing
possible? No.
The mobs and stuff is fine. The bosses, if you don't like Souls games, Elden Ring, Monster Hunter, any of that bullshit to where you have to time your shit by a dodge roll, you're not going to advance. This is literally my worst nightmare. I hate Elden Ring. I hate Dark Souls. I hate all that shit.
I can understand that only because I guess I'm kind of on the fence, right? Because I can see where it's needed and I can see where it's annoying. I do think the bosses need to be tweaked. I re-rolled the monk, which I have been playing in my off time when I haven't really had a chance to stream, but if I got like an hour or two here, I'll play the monk. And I also have a warrior, which I got a bunch of babies. I got a bunch of babies right now. And there are a lot of the bosses will just flat out one-shot you or two-shot you, and I think that comes too early. Hell, I died twice on the entry boss, no dude with the hacksaw. And I was like, what the hell? Why is he hitting so hard? Like, what the hell is this? So I can understand that, but the thing is, they have slowed down the game. Path of Exile 1, you could go and get speed here, but you literally have movement flash and Path of Exile 1. They've slowed down the game. There's no movement flash, so you can still spec into with passive points. There's still other ways to get movement, but for the most part, it's slowed down. So if they didn't put dodge roll in, you would have no chance of getting out the way of stuff because most characters move very slow. The slowest moving character while attacking is the Merc, because the Merc, you know, is basically like burst firing. Like, if they did not have dodge rolling, you'd have no way of getting out of a lot of the moves. So I understand for a bunch of people, they saw that and immediately jumped to Elden Ring. But I feel like with how much they slowed down the game, it had to be in there. It had to. But I'll let him finish his point.
They almost feels like bait and switch a little bit. They didn't tell us about that part, which looking back on it now, I should have seen it. Like dodge roll and active block. Yeah, they're going to ruin the game. From my take, this is the worst thing that could happen to the game. I hate Elden Ring games. I hate Dark Souls games because as you age, your reaction time is going to go down. If you enjoy, you know, the Devil's Lettuce or anything like that, your reaction time is going to go down. I didn't play this game to dodge roll everywhere. After listening to Crip talk about his in-game experience, I don't want to dodge roll around.
Yeah, if you see my gameplay with my Merc fighting the ghost chick, who's the wife of Draven, my fingers were killing me from all the dodge roll. I found out playing with a controller is so much better. I'm playing my warrior with a controller. It is so much better. But it changes how the whole screen looks. I don't necessarily like how the game looks, like the menu and stuff with the controller, but that's a different story. It's just because I'm used to Path of Exile as how it looks, as it is when the mouse and keyboard. But yeah, you're gonna be dodge rolling a lot because you have a lot of bosses who do either big massive moves or several things that you gotta get around, like that where she Eye of the Fourth Moon and she just threw 3 and 4 circles. You dodge roll, especially if you're slowed. So I get your point. I'm gonna let you go.
All of these players right now that are in Act 1, Act 2, that are having the time of their life with no loot drops, no currency drops, no nothing, that are playing the game like Last Epoch.
That's your problem. You don't have any loot. This game is immensely harder if you don't get any drops, because on my monk, no drops. Now my monk, I have a stash from my merc. So the mercenary stash, I struggled fighting trash and beating the first boss and getting the town to get the yellows I had in stash. Before I got the yellows in stash and having to dodge around, and it didn't feel good. So if he's not getting any loot drops, which that is a problem, the loot is not dropping consistently. He probably needs to go to the store. And it says blue, but if you buy it, you got a chance to get a yellow. Happened to me with my warrior. If he's not getting any loot drops and he's not getting anything else, them regular grays and blues, getting a yellow, the game feels so much smoother and it feels a lot better. If he's just in blues, ooh.
Or not Last Epoch, Elden Ring. If you're playing the game like Elden Ring, that's great. But you're going to get one playthrough out of this. This is not Elden Ring. This is not Dark Souls. This is an ARPG. And so now that I bring that up, a lot of people like to argue with me and say, well, ARPG is a vast, broad definition. Is it really an ARPG? What's your definition of ARPG? Why do you say it's an ARPG? Because motherfucking Jonathan said it's an ARPG. That's why it's an ARPG. So, no. The game needs loot. Even after this,
and they need to boost the loot. Yes.
I don't know if it's rarity's bugged or what the deal is, but I still ain't getting jack shit.
Yeah, he's not getting loot.
A little TSA or PSA or whatever the fuck public announcement for those that don't know. Blue items have always been dog shit.
Yep.
Okay. And I actually had someone try to argue with me about a very niche, very weird fucking Diablo 2 Monarch blue shield that literally nobody ever used except for a real niche thing. Oh, that was the best game. Blues are dog shit. We have been conditioned for 20 plus years to not pick up blues. And now,
if you ain't getting yellows, why the hell aren't you picking up blues? I got two oranges, but they're for capture, so I can't use them. But I'm also running I have several pieces of rarity find gear on my Merc, and so he just gets a lot of stuff. And my I got 2 classes that run that, and so whatever instant just goes in the stash. But why not pick up blues?
So on top of that, we've been conditioned that town is lava. How many of here follow Rex? How many of us have watched Rex for a while? How many times have we heard Rex say, town is lava? And so now, instead of going out there and getting the drops that you want to get, every time you level up, you got to go back to town. It is literally, it's not the evolution of ARPGs, it's the de-evolution of ARPGs. We are going backwards. We are focused so good in on
I don't know if that's a bad. You guys gotta go back to town.
The playability, that's all great. The maps are great. All of that's great. Feels good. The sound effects are good. The visualizations are good. But I'm the kind of guy where I could play a stick figure game as long as it's fun. And when you have an Act 1 boss that is so goddamn hard, and I know, look, stop. If y'all don't have problems with the Act 1 boss, that's fine. If you don't have problems with the Act 2 boss, that's fine.
Oh, I had a lot of problems with Act 1 boss. You want to sit there and read me poems while you jump in and out of fog? Yeah, I had problems with Act 1 boss, but he's beatable. Like you're equating it to Elden Ring, and I'm like, do you really want to say Elden Ring? I can say it's the Elden Ring of ARPGs, but that's just because it's difficult. Diablo 4, there was nothing really difficult except for 3 bosses. Lilith. I personally struggled with the boss in the tornado and the sands. And the boss that I found out, because I didn't play Diablo 2, I found out was a Diablo 2 boss with he summoned maggots. And I live streamed that. I was stuck on that boss for 2 hours. So the game is not, it's beatable. There are some things they need to change about boss 1, about what's the name, Gregor. There are some things they need to change about him, like the blood going up move. But other than that, he is, and the mobs pushing you all the way across the room randomly when he's in the fog. But outside of that, if you're talking about him, he's beatable. Everybody else is just hard or annoying. Mostly annoying. Especially the Draven and his wife, because they call on each other for help. So you're gonna Night of the Fourth Moon. Can't stand that shit.
Comes with Act 3 boss, that's fine, but lots and lots and lots of people do. I am the definition of a shitty, worst, pile of garbage, goddamn casual scrub fucking gamer that exists. I was the worst Exile 1 player, but you know what? It was fun. And what's confusing to me is now, all of a sudden, all of these people that were too scared to go play Path to Exile 1 because it didn't respect your time, it needed a PhD, it was hard to get things going, it was very difficult. Now, those same people, when you bring up anything that's wrong with the game and you'd like to see change so we can have a successful, badass fucking game like they promised us, now all those same people are saying, you suck, get good, go back to Path to Exile 1, this game wasn't made for you.
That's the internet. And you got people who are part of their little sects and cults, and every game has them. No matter, you got Diablo fans, no matter what you say about Diablo is not true. Diablo's the best one. I've seen people saying that, oh yeah, now people gonna come running back to Diablo 4. We would, it's on both sides. It's always is. It's the internet. It's the Wild West.
Imagine that shit. Imagine during Diablo 4, if we looked at all those people and said, go back to Diablo 3, you bitch. This game wasn't made for you. The same people that played Diablo 4 and got loot and got run around and they're bitching, they were bitching too, just like with your boy Hawg here, about how the loot sucked, itemization sucked, all this sucked, how they're going to keep you in the game. These are the same guys right now that are coming over here, worshiping the game, saying this is the greatest game ever made. Don't change a thing. Kriparian comes out and talks about Ruthless, which I said from the very beginning, I agreed with him. I said it before we even saw his video. This is Ruthless. Everybody hated Ruthless. Y'all don't even know. If you didn't play Path Exile,
I never heard of Ruthless.
Ruthless was a game mode. It was Chris Wilson's like brainchild.
Oh, you're talking about Path Exile. I thought they were saying Ruthless was
your time even more than
another game called
now.
Ruthless.
And so what did they do? Instead of making the most epic game ever, they made Ruthless 2.0 and they disguised it and added a dodge roll and a block. And they made everybody think it was going to be badass. That's why you're seeing all the Path Exile 1 players unhappy, because we have been playing a good ARPG. That's why we've been talking shit.
Take that back. The Ghost Switch. She spams moves to where, and especially when she's low on life, to where you don't get a chance to ever attack her. You're just dodging. At least on my, I didn't have that on my monk. My monk, I just kept pressing heal and beat her to death because how he what the build I was building. I just endured. I just stunned her and just nuked her. I couldn't do that. Depending on what he's playing, I will say this: what you play, what you build will drastically affect how hard this content is, for sure. 100%. So I maybe I have to go look at some of his streams and see what the hell is he playing, what the hell is he doing. There is some things where it's just like, I feel like some of the bosses, they are a little, maybe like I said, the witch is a little too overtuned. Certain little things need to be tweaked, but this is early access. It could be tweaked. I had early access Baldur's Gate 3. The game was hard. The first act was hard as hell. I didn't even beat the first act when it was on early access. Then I had the full game, and way better. They tuned down some of the stuff. It wasn't so brutal that it just seemed like I didn't beat the game, but I was in the third act, and then I had a long story short, I had like several playthroughs. Actually, I think I just burned myself out too damn soon. I had one with my wife, I had one with me, I had several with me, I had one with somebody else, and I was doing that game so much I never finished it. But the moral of the story is they worked on it. So maybe the bosses right now are slightly overtuned. Yeah, I'm right now I'm in Act 2, so I don't know how Act 2 is, but we'll see what else you got to say.
About Diablo 4, guys. Since I've been over there, it's a rolling joke over there. So here's what I ask. Instead of shitting on us, why don't you let us provide the feedback that we paid the goddamn money to do? Because here's the funny thing. Before Tencent bought the fucking company, GGG was 100% financed.
I didn't even know Tencent bought Grinding Gears.
So coming over here to this
crazy
community and telling the players that finance the game, which I'm not one of those. I was in here after Tencent bought it, okay? But to tell all the guys that are pissed to go get fucked and go play another game, that ain't gonna fly. Because they literally financed the fucking company to where it is now. If it was Blizzard, that might be okay thing to say because it's a publicly traded company, but this is a little bit different. That's why people are fucking pissed. I'm pissed because I've just been gatekept out of my game. I finally get the shit rolling again. I finally feel good about it. And then they nerf it into oblivion again. And obviously that's a fucking null point. It's early access.
I'm guessing you went with the one of those on cast build I've heard about where you fulfill something and it casts meteors, which we'll talk about. I don't have the full gist on that, which is why I'm hearing that everybody was running that like it was a broken build. I don't know what exactly that is. I've seen some gameplay of it, but I'm guessing that's what he settled on.
Access or whatever, but it just sets the stage for what's to come. That they don't want you to have that kind of power fantasy, and that's the whole thing in an ARPG. Now let's get into the real things about what's going to happen if they don't change it. Now, for those that like the state of the game, that's fine. You can enjoy the state of the game, but you're not gonna. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not gonna continue to come back for seasons. This is a live service game, and Jonathan's big thing he always talked about was getting new players and being fair to the new players. There should be zero reason, okay? And I don't care if you like Elden Ring. I don't care if you like Dark Souls.
I don't like Dark Souls.
I don't care any about that. In an ARPG, there is no reason that Act 1, the very starting act, is that difficult. There is zero reason. There is zero reason that the game should not respect my time.
I can't fight that. As I said, I felt like maybe it should be built up. It should be built into, not hell. Dark Souls 1 didn't smack you in the face as hard as Dark Souls. Path of Exile 1 didn't smack you in the face as hard as Path of Exile 2. It's like, buckle up. You're gonna be in for a ride. So yeah, the beach and Path of Exile 1, you were fine until you fought the Sludge Ice Queen. I don't Merkel, or I forgot her name. Maybe the crab monster might be a little bit, but yeah, either one of those two. You know, you might catch a death, but definitely this game was teaching you, you ain't in Kansas no more.
And that's what's really blowing my mind is
buckle up,
all
Dorothy.
the Diablo players, all the Last Epoch players, everybody else that was too scared to come play this game because it didn't respect your time, are now saying don't change the game because it's perfect. The slow combat is great. It doesn't respect your time even more than PoE 1 does. It's very frustrating to see when we try to give feedback.
I'm calling it Elden Ring effect. Elden Ring came out during the pandemic, of course, and now, you know, don't get me wrong, Dark Souls has always been the franchise they've always gotten off on difficulty, but now it's like this breed of elitists have came out the woodwork, and it's a thing to speed run Elden Ring, Dark Souls, speed run those type of games, beat them on the hardest settings. I came from, I also play Space Marines. I have Space Marines too. There's a group there complaining, and there's elitists. Oh yeah, I beat it with just a pistol, and oh noob, get better. Like, I just think you're listening to the wrong people, or the wrong people, or the ears you, or the mouths you hear. The game is the game does, and everybody calling skill issue. Game does have a very sharp, quick learning curve, but like I said, I think it's overtuned, and the people you're hearing from, so everybody's flocking to this game, hearing how hard it is, and these are these people who get off on beating hard games. But I do think some things are overtuned. Is it impossible? No, but you're also not getting drops. They do need to tweak drops. So I just think all in all, it's all a combination of all those things.
Don't want it to change. How about this? If you like playing Elden Ring, go play Elden Ring. There's a reason that No Rest for the Wicked is not burning up the charts right now, baby. Because nobody wants to play that shit. It might be fun to play through it one time. But that's not what Path to Exile 2 is supposed to be. This is a live service action RPG, which means you need to have power fantasy, which means you need to have items that drop, which means you need to have badass shit that you can do. And every time we find something badass to do so we feel a tiny bit of power, fuck PoE 1, so it feels like D4. You ready for some news flash? I had more fun in the...
I think that's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Path of Exile never really had a move where you just walking around on crit, the comments are clearing the screen for you. That is, if I'm right, that is more so something that Diablo almost always have, where you have a move or build where you're just walking around or you're just bursting through. I know on Diablo 3 with the monk, where you're just dashing around and everything is just dying, just allowing you to just super speed clear. Now there are speed clear builds in Path of Exile, but nothing where it's just constant, just meteors falling once it procs. And I think you're supposed to have a power fantasy, but that just seems more like something from what I've seen of one where the frost meteors, that just seemed like more like something I would see on Diablo 4 than Path of Exile. And if that's not what they intended, maybe they should have brought the proc down a bit rather than just, I don't know what they did to break it. I'm gonna look into right after this. We're gonna go over and look over these nerfs, but that don't sound like something that you would typically find in Path of Exile. That's why you're about to say that you had I cut you off, but you're about to say you had more fun in D4 than here, which because you said 98% of the sentence.
D4 campaign that I'm having in this fucking game right now.
Bingo.
And you can comment, get good, all you want to in the bottom. That's fine. I know I suck. But I'm fucking pissed that I am gate-kept out of my game. And most of my stream community is fucking pissed about it too. I've already had a bunch of people uninstall. And you can shit on all of us and say, oh, the fucking Path to Exile 1 guys that want one-button builds. You want easy shit? Let me tell your ass something. I league started a Scion. Every league, a Scion. Don't talk to me about you just wanted easy one button fucking push builds. Bullshit. There ain't nothing easy about that shit over there. You know what?
A Scion can be whatever you want it to be, literally. So I'm confused.
I don't want to have to fucking have my timing down to 0.00000000001 millisecond reaction time so that I don't get one shot by an Act 1 boss. You know what it feels like when you've got this game all hyped up and your old lady's fucking hyped up because she plays PoE, even though she's never played a game before. She loves PoE and she's so fucking excited to play PoE 2, and she can't even get into the goddamn town because they made the shit so fucking hard. They've literally gate-kept everybody out of there while advertising this is going to be the greatest game and going to be fun for everybody.
He's struggling with the hacksaw boss. Yep. As I said, it doesn't feel good. But you don't have yellows, don't feel good. I know what he's struggling with, because when you have dodge rolling games, you're programmed to start dodging as soon as the boss starts winding up for an attack. But bosses in this game will react to you trying to dodge them. So they can actually track you if you dodge too early. You need to like try to dodge as they're, I don't want to say committing to the attack, but like when they're halfway through the attack animation is when you dodge roll. So what's probably happening to him is when the monster rolls back to come up with the sword, to the hacksaw to slam down, he's already dodged, and then the monster's tracking him and he still gets caught. He needs to start dodging when the monster starts coming down with it. Starts coming down to the ground, close to the ground with it. So yeah, that's like it's a visual cue, and you just learn. Well, I'll give my full, let me finish. I done paused the hell out of this.
And then clipping everybody's fucking nuts off. I'm pissed Yeah, the game plays good. Yeah, the game's beautiful. Yeah, the control feels good and all that shit that doesn't fucking matter in the long run if there's no fun to be had in the game. Hot take. You ready? Go ahead and hit unsubscribe if you don't fucking like it, but I'm pissed. I want the game fixed. I want the game fun. There is absolutely, in my opinion, nothing fun about dying 2,700 times trying to learn a telegraphed attack of a fucking boss in Act 1 that doesn't need to be that fucking hard. There's absolutely no reason why you should clip our fucking nuts off, not once, not twice, but 3 times, not give us a fucking skill tree respec, and not give us some way to fucking do that.
I completely agree with that.
Why do I have to scrounge around and fucking get my nuts clipped off every 5 minutes every time I find something fun about the game? No, what they want you to do is walk around slow as motherfucking molasses. Yeah. Yeah. That's what they want you to do. And is it surprising that a bunch of people that played a generator spender game love coming over here and playing this because they don't know what Power Fantasy is and they don't want the game to change? Of course not. Of course. We have to be very careful because if they don't change the game, even though y'all don't want it to change, if they don't change the game slightly and make it a little bit easier and make it a little bit faster, then it's not going to survive. And before you go in the comments and say, that's not true, do some research, do some history on PoE 1. They had the game this hard, PoE 1 alpha and beta. The game was this hard and people didn't play it. And they were forced to turn the difficulty down. And then guess what happened? Hey, everybody played it. Why would you argue?
So it sounds like this is going to be, if that's the case, they're going to walk the same path again.
You need to let people get better at the game. And then when you get to the end game and have Crip say everything is one shot, Criparian. Okay, we're not talking about Hawg, we're talking about Crip motherfucking Arian said that the game was too hard, that the game was ruthless, and that you got one shot in the end game. That's not an ARPG, guys. We're not playing fucking Elden Ring.
Okay.
You are supposed to kill.
I didn't look at Crip's video.
In Diablo 4, the guys that played Diablo 4 that are saying don't change the game, did you kill? You killed. That wasn't what killed the game for y'all. The game, Diablo 4, was boring because the devs are incompetent, not because of the game design, not because of blasting everything, not because the loot dropped, okay? So now that you're in here in PoE 2, I'll tell you, go play PoE 1, because the reason that you didn't play PoE 1 is because you were scared of the skill tree and you were scared of the socket system. Well, guess what? That's the Band-Aid's ripped off. Now, all you have to worry about in PoE 2 is links and colors. You can level up skill gems by experience. So if you don't have any fucking power and you need to farm, you can actually gain power by experience instead of the skill gems being locked to the zone that they drop. So if you're stuck on zone 5, you're never going to get past zone 5. You're never going to get a skill gem 6 from a zone 5. We could sit here all day and bitch, but I'm going to bring this to an end. And this is my review of it. And then maybe one day I'll get to the end game, but I don't even fucking know. And then so go ahead and cue the comments up for Hawg sucks, get good, go play Path to Exile 1, pussy, you're a bitch. This game's good for me.
Like I said, you're just...
And I don't have any problems finding loot. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, you just suck. You've never played ARPGs before. Oh, have you tried tactics? Have you tried hiding behind a tree? Like, get the fuck out of here with all that shit. This is an ARPG. Have a nice day.
Hiding behind a tree.
Or unsubscribe, because I'm sure y'all going to be pissed because I actually shared my fucking... what I thought about the game, and it probably doesn't agree with yours, so you're going to be pissed and call me a piece of shit and unsubscribe. Anyway, love y'all. See you next time.
You got the wrong people around you, bro. Like, seriously. As far as who you listening to. A lot of your problems, a lot of your comments was valid. A lot. They need to tweak the bosses. Getting one shot at near the beginning is insane. They need to tweak gear drop. They need to stop it to where the thing where these monsters just run to flank you and completely body block you in, and then you just die. That has to. I know they did a slight thing to that, but you move so slow and everything else moves so fast. That's literally what happens. You need to be 100% aware and cognizant that their whole plan is to just jump you and mob you by surrounding you all the time. Sometimes it happens so fast you can't even stop it. I mean, not this red. I mean, this is get out the red. I don't really have a problem with you needing to learn attack patterns. It is a way of freshening up boss fights. So it's not just move, even though there are some bosses that's all they do. But again, the dead zombie wife, ghost wife of Draven or Drator, she goes way too much. She does too much. And then they all summon those skeleton knight dudes who they block, at least for my Merc, they were blocking everything. Ironically, I don't know if it was a hot fix with my monk, and I would do the glacier thing on the floor where it would send like a glacier shockwave. They didn't really repel that. But the monk, the mercenary they were repelling everything from the front. Back shots, hey, open game. They're probably gonna have to do the same thing. They're gonna have to walk it down. They dang sure gotta do respects. You can't have people building and then you nuke a build, whether it's just it was too strong or it wasn't what you intended. You cannot nuke it and then not allow respects. The game is not coming out to the spring or summertime, so let's be honest, we're basically beta testers. So just give us and you're going to wipe the game anyway, from what I understand, right? So just give us the respects. Either reduce it or just give out maybe 1 or 2 free respects. If you do a major patch where you're destroying builds, give a respect, a book of respect, however you want to do it. Do it that way. Don't just, oh yeah, well we did that, and then it's like 5,000 gold a node just to move off one node. So it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have it a much more easier for you to respec, but you got it costing an arm and a leg to respec. So they definitely have to move back on this. I do think they want a hard game. That's for sure. They want a hard game, and they're struggling with how can we bring a game with a high ceiling but a low enough floor for the casuals to enjoy it too. Because everybody got scared off Path of Exile. When I got scared off Path of Exile 1, I'm one of those people. I won't say everybody, but a lot of people got scared off Path of Exile 1. I didn't understand at the time, and through watching people, that's what caused me to come back and time going on. So they're struggling with one to make a very hard, fulfilling game difficulty-wise, but then you can't, those games become niche. You can't leave the casuals so far down the wayside that they can't pick up a controller or log in and get stuff done and do it too. So they got to find a middle ground, and that's what we're doing. We're helping them. Hawg, continue to give your feedback. Asmongold, Krypton, everybody give your feedback. They will take what the feedback is from the community, not just the content creators. Games have that issue, different story. And they will take it and put it to use and realize they need to walk some stuff back, and then maybe within a couple of months they will find that middle ground. But I always love his content, and his point is his point. Some are valid, some I don't agree with, of course, but one way or another, it does still comes from an issue that it's coming from how the game is set up. You feel like crap if you don't have any yellows. He can't get into town. The first boss on Path of Exile was a pushover. They don't need. I died 6 times on my monk to the witch, the frost witch. That's like in the lumber yard. She don't need to be that hard. You don't really have the moves for her when she has so many AoE and so many space out moves to push you away to where you completely got to leave the platform sometimes, or with so many ads. That some of this just needs to be walked back. But do you think he's right? Are you seeing that there's a middle ground? Let me know in the comment section below. What's your experience been with the game? Are you liking it? You think it's perfect? You want it harder? Let me know. Oh, that pause. This is like, comment, subscribe. This is Revos. I'm out.